Hey guys, and welcome to our review of the Sony A7 III. Now, I know our video title is a little bit of a bold statement, but personally, I feel like that's the case. For around $2,000, there's really not a lot of things that this camera cannot do. It nails a lot of things like any type of photography, especially with its faster frame rates of shooting pictures, and even the professional video features that it has. So, throughout this video, I'll tell you how this is the best camera you can buy for any kind of purpose you will have. So let's look at what we're going to get here with this camera. So we're getting a full frame Super 35 sensor, and this camera is mirrorless, so you have the added benefit of the compact form factor that this camera comes with. So since it's a full frame sensor, you already have the benefit of less crop factor compared to the APS-C counterparts, and also you have a more natural depth of field compared to APS-C format sensors. This is going to give you a little bit deeper depth of field and a little bit more natural looking as well. And the main improvement comes with low light. Because of the bigger sensor size, you'll be seeing a lot of difference when low light performance is concerned, and this particular Sony A7 III matches up with Sony's best low light camera up to now, the Sony A7 II. So I think that's really a good achievement for this camera in terms of low light performance. And yeah, so did I mention the autofocus on this camera? Sony has this new face detect autofocus plus eye autofocus, and it's amazing. Now, first it tries to look for a subject's eyes, then subject's face, then it goes into face detect. So mostly you're not gonna get anything out of focus with this camera. I've been trying it since a month now, and I've been enjoying the autofocus. Now it has that autofocus to pets as well, so you can track even pets' eyes and pinpoint that sharpness in the focus of the details. So as long as you're shooting in a well lit condition, you're going to have excellent pictures. And when you go to low light as well, you can go to a ISO of 6400 and not see any grain. So low light performance is also great on this camera. Now if you're going to be shooting fast moving subjects or sports photography, I think the 10 fps burst mode is going to help you. This camera comes with UHS 1 SD card slot, so buffer clears a little bit faster, and that's going to allow you to take full advantage of that 10 fps burst rate. So if you're shooting a lot of action and you don't want to miss the shots, yes, this camera has got you covered in there as well. And I've already explained to you the low light performance of this. So be it street photography, be it portraits, be it low light photography, or even sports photography, I think you cannot go wrong with this camera. I guess the Sony Alpha 9 is a little bit better in sports photography, but for most people, this is the best you can do. And considering the price difference between both of them, I think for me at least, this is a no-brainer. And coming to the video qualities, let's talk about what are the video capabilities of the camera. It can shoot up to full frame 4K 30 fps, and in 30 fps there is a slight crop, but when you shoot at 24, it shoots full sensor 6K image and downscales it to 4K. So you have a lot of detail when 4K video is concerned, and actually the bit rate is only 100 Mbps, so the file sizes are going to be decent, and for that much compression I don't see a lot of loss in detail anyway. So I think this is a great camera for me because I can shoot 4K and not have massive file sizes, and this shoots at 8-bit not 10-bit, and I'm okay with that fact. I don't have a lot of shooting scenarios, but yes, 8-bit is enough for me. 10-bit I think is a little bit of overkill unless you're a filmmaker and are going to be grading your picture a lot, which you can do with this camera, but yeah. So for all my intents and purposes, this is enough, and I think for most of the people that is enough. And then when it comes to 1080p, you can shoot up to 120 fps, and the best thing with that is it shoots audio with it, and the autofocus still works. So we can't ask much from this camera in that department as well. So the slow motion is actually buttery smooth, and the detail is definitely there. And in 1080p it can also film at 24, 30 and 60 frames per second, and you can choose your own bitrate as well. So in case of video shooting also, I think it has covered a lot of options. Only a 4K 60 frames per second is something I miss in this camera, but I think that's something you'll have to take up with newer models that are coming out now. So yeah, with how old this camera is and how it's priced, I think I'm definitely fine with the 4K 30 FPS. And now let's talk about the overall use. Yes, I am not a fan of Sony's menus. They are a little bit confusing actually, but once I got the hang of it, it's actually very intuitive. Now it's not as simple as Canon's, but I like having those extra options that I can mess around with and get the best result. And quite frankly, the programmable buttons have come in more handy than Canon's interface for me personally. Without taking my eye off the viewfinder, I can just adjust quickly the ISO or aperture or expressive compensation. So I think now I'm actually getting into this Sony's interface, and it doesn't bother me a lot. And shooting video, you also have picture profiles from picture profile 1 to 8. Three of them are again S-logs, S-log 1, S-log 2 and S-log 3. So you're going to be fine with any types of filming. So that has been my thoughts on this camera. But you might also tell, why this camera, why not Panasonic GH5 or the Canon's EOS R? The simple answer is that these are excellent cameras, of course, but when it comes to Panasonic GH5, it's a micro four thirds camera, and this is a full frame camera. So you can already see a lot of differences with the low light performance or even the bokeh effect. A lot of times I've seen Panasonic GH5's background to be equally sharp as the subject, or if not a little bit blurred. So you're going to be losing on that, and the lenses have a lot of zoom factor, which is a lot of inconvenience, and GH5 is not particularly known for its image quality. So I think an all-rounder means it should be an actual all-rounder. So GH5 loses out in photography, and in quite frankly in videography also. I don't like the autofocus that comes with it. So I don't think GH5 is all-rounder. I like its price point and what its capabilities are, especially with the 4K 60, but I don't think it's an all-rounder. And coming to the EOS R, yes, it is sort of an all-rounder, and Canon's features are amazing, but especially at a little bit higher price point than the A7 III, it shoots slow motion at 720p, which is ridiculous. And it has a 4K crop as well while shooting 4K, a mirrorless full-frame camera cropping into a 4K video. And also you don't have the dual card slots that you get with Sony, which makes me feel like they have handicapped the camera quite a bit there, and the price point is not really cheap. So that is why I don't think EOS R is especially fit for this spot. But once you get the hang of it, I think EOS R gives excellent results in terms of picture quality or video quality, but I don't like that it's restricted in that regions in that specific price point. So that's why I didn't choose that. So I think overall I'm very happy with the choice I went for. It's the A7 III, and of course it doesn't have articulating touchscreen like Canon, and that is why I'm buying an external monitor. So I'll be unboxing that monitor also in a couple of days, so stay tuned for that. So that's been it. This is why I think Sony's A7 III is the best all-round camera that you can buy right now. So leave a like if you like the video, subscribe to watch more cool stuff like this, and see you in the next one.